We're live in theory. Do you have any opening words for the bot watchers?
Oh, I tried to burp. I failed.
I just heard like a.
Yeah, no, I sort of a little burped. Now I have the air in my stomach.
Oh, that's
Oh,
annoying.
that, one sec.
Brrr.
Come on, it's almost there. Oh, I can't get out in one go. Hi, we're good people. We're good people. I swear we're good people.
Hello, bot watchers. Enjoy burping. Enjoy burping sounds. Early in the morning burping sounds. Well, for me it's relatively early. For you, it's like noonish.
Uh, in that time range, yeah. From what I can see, you haven't switched over to streaming my shared screen for Sword and Soul. It's just a gray thing.
Oh, I think I know the problem. Did it work?
Okay, there's the full burp. Ooh, I was not using my push to talk at that time. I feel better.
We missed the burp.
That woke me up. That woke me up a little bit.
The mystic burp. How do I know if we're live? That's a good question. Oh, we're live. Okay, cool. Hi, Akiho. Akiho. Akaiho.
Akio? Akio? I don't know.
That.
Oh no, Sonic 2.
So there's 2 chatters and 0 viewers. Explain that, Twitch.
I see 3 viewers.
Explain that, Twitch. Well, I think that's an OBS problem.
Yeah, Icarue, I think you're notably quieter than I am.
Am I? Uh, how about now? I literally maxed out my mic. And you are like half muted.
Let me compare. I sound way louder than you. I sound so much louder than you.
I can mute you more. It might be time to get a mic.
It might.
Is this a multipath?
If you like how mine sound. So if you like how mine sound, I can give you a recommendation if you like.
Is yours a headset thing or a on-desk thing?
Nope, it's a proper mic. USB based though, so that should be fine.
Like, is it hanging from a boom thingy or?
Oh, I got a separate arm that it extends out on. Yeah.
Fancy.
That itself was like $10-20 by itself. So that's not a big extra amount.
Fancy. I'm using my laptop's mic.
You know, it's actually pretty good quality, all things considered. Is this a multipath game? No, I think it's fairly linear, and you do have some choices as to largely your your like personal character's development across it. But I think it doesn't have branching paths or anything like that.
I don't think so. Atramentia is not on chat, is she? Are they? Why'd you go like that? Why you jealous? Why you jealous, Discord? Who are you jealous of? Are you there?
Hello, I'm still here. Should I not be here? Sorry, I was posting the link on my Discord too.
Okay, okay. I'm just paranoid of I got a like bad internet connection or something. Oh, that reminds me. I just updated for Patreons. Orchard University.
I noticed that. I noticed that went up. I only saw the poll, and then I went to your thing, and it was like, oh, that also went up, and I didn't see you mention it anywhere else. I assume you want to like post some stuff when we're done.
Yeah. Uh, I'm of two minds of why I didn't uh posted anything on Discord. One is I just did the poll that I was supposed to post like a day or two ago. Tehe.
We talked about that like yesterday, and you had already posted a poll, so today was fairly reasonable on that front.
Yeah, but I didn't like. I didn't want to double ping the Orchard University people.
I think they care more about the game than they do about the poll, so you're probably justified in that at this point.
And the second reason why I didn't ping them was because of the rabbit hole I told you.
Oh.
That was a good 1 hour distraction. Yay.
The thing we were talking about at the very start of this. Sorry,
Correct.
my mind went to like something game related. Like, oh no. Just for the sake of not having a bunch of playtime on there.
How much do you remember from last time? How long ago did we stream this?
It might have been 3 weeks ago, just because of my offset days off. That instead of my normal every other week, I had some moved around because I visited family a bit ago. Last time, though, on Sword and Soul, we got back here to the calm at the eye of the mildish storm. We seem to have, I think, I feel like we hit a point where we had completed most things that we are setting out to do, and now we're just sort of left with, oh, hey, how do we fix this situation we're in? And we don't have many external threats. They're mostly internal, like magical internal, right?
I think so.
So we're at that calm. We're going to go around and talk to people. And from that, we'll see where the game goes from here. I've heard people talk about stuff from the game that I still don't recognize. So I know there's at least a bit more. So hopefully we think we're near the end of current content. So
maybe us talking and us reading like pat the game
not that
out.
I'm gonna complain. Yeah, I mean for sure it has. I'm not gonna complain if we have like a good amount more content to go, but at the same time, it's one of those things where it's like you want more content, but you also want to be able to get through that content in what feels like a timely manner.
Right.
And it never does when you only stream for like 2 hours every couple weeks, right? Yep. It never does, especially if it's like a substantial length game.
But at least compared to other games is better. Like imagine streaming only like a Trails game only 2 hours every fortnight, like 4 hours a month.
Yeah, you'd have the next game come out before you finished.
I mean, the next game's coming out like in January. It might be a Japanese release though.
Yeah. No, well, not January. I think there's an English release in February, if I remember correctly.
That's not even 6 months, I think. Is it
It
what
was.
August to February?
Was it August? Eh, maybe. I think it's February. I think it's late February, so it might be right around 6 months.
I stopped playing.
Yeah, that's okay. Not going to be for everyone, ultimately. Admittedly, I haven't played much myself, but that has a lot more to do with me not playing almost any video games outside of these streams for the past number of months. Just one of those things where, like, one of those things, once you start making games and you're, like, really dedicated to the making games things, it's like, you sit down, I have free time. What can I do with it? Do I play this game or do I make this game? Making the game wins almost every time.
I at least play 1 hour of games every day. We.
Why did I say that?
What did you say?
I said you want to change more, right? Get big boobs, bigger butt.
Etchy. I see I'm starting to corrupt Six. Yay. I'm a good influence.
Ooh. You do like corruption themes, don't you?
Yep.
What's Celestian? What's a Celestian?
Is this game long?
Uh,
8
it's not
hours so
done.
far?
Well, I mean, we also talk through a good amount of it, so it's one of those things where, like, right now, right now, we're probably going to spend like 20 seconds on this one when it might take like 3 seconds normally, 5 seconds. Here, Icarue, you get the choice this time. Do we want to respond seriously or teasingly to her expression of, "Hey, I want to stick around with you going forward"?
Sure, seriously. Ledigan. For me, I like to technically challenge myself with how to make different functions work. I'm afraid the next game I make will have too many gimmicks. That is always an issue.
I think the key there is you keep the games small much of the time. Or you have one longer game that you don't do a bunch of gimmicks in, and then you have shorter games where you experiment and you get that more out of your system so that you're a bit more tempered for the main game that you're working on.
Should I put the image? I'm ready. My button's ready.
Admittedly, did it go that direction? No, she was just changing to like different gear.
Yeah, but what if you open the door and oh no, I'm changing? Don't look at me, Baka. And throw clothes at you. Yes, I may watch too much anime. then Negan responds with, "Yep, I might I might make one. I might make one and done gimmicks like the one I work on right now has a bridge and can fly." Let me move this with a finger. Now that I have a bridge and can now fly up and above and below the bridge, so make your flying unit not get shot by a ballista. Oh yeah, ballistas and flyers, always a good combo of, oh good, I cannot use my flyers.
I think putting ingenuity into the map design's not a bad way to go about it either. I'm reminded of how in Oathbreaker, a lot of the sort of unique challenges that we try to impose onto the player are based around the idea of it's the basically the encounter design. So it's important that that specific map is particularly unique unto itself, or it's different than what it has been, or we try to pace the encounter design so it's not too similar-ish, or it's not too basic, like just defeat the enemies, that sort of stuff. Usually there's always something a bit more going on, and I always feel like that's good.
And mix it with the story. A lot of times, like, hey, Ika, is this possible? And it's like, start looking around the things. Maybe. What are the themes of this game? Narratively, or the other kind of themes? The answer is always yes, but I will... the answer is always yes, but I will need a few hours to look into it how. I mean, there have been... Have there been times I have said no?
Sorry, just on the themes for...
Transformation things?
The themes elements. Sorry, just on the game themes. It's very much a fantasy game with transformation elements and that sort of stuff, yeah.
I would say using the TFGS tags is...
Yeah, I'd say, like, in terms of narrative themes, I think it basically boils down to the true self, basically, and understanding that, and understanding what different ways there are to live based on the different ways that you are as a person, that sort of thing.
So, Persona
That's
4?
where it sort of feels... Yeah. There are a few fun ways that you can do that. I like transformation. I've really enjoyed, as a writer, transformations as a baseline theme on the basis of change being sort of like the core of all character arcs. And when you basically force the character to go through change, it really becomes a very interesting way to explore how people react to going through change. And it really shows who they are, and it really shows what possibilities are open to them by going through those, by having a new perspective in life, basically. Yeah.
Using...
Here's your...
Go ahead.
You are very quiet.
You're very quiet.
Oh,
very
that's
quiet.
fun.
I'm very quiet, or Six is very quiet?
I think we're having the same problem that we used to, where everything's quiet.
Everything is quiet. I mean, if everything's quiet, isn't it a matter of
I think it's
raising volume?
because you can only turn up the volume so much. I think generally...
I think I have to get closer to the
yeah.
mic. But then I cannot lean back and sit comfortably with my legs crossed.
So if I got right up next to the mic, this is how much louder I would be.
I'm over my keyboard on my laptop if I speak like this. And then if I lean back like this.
Yeah, the problem is that your mic's literally in your laptop, so you have to, like, go up against the laptop to be up next to it.
Correct.
Yeah. I think it might just be something we have to live with for now, and you might want to like actively look into just getting a mic, even if it's like a $20 one that you can put up against your face. That would probably be good.
An Xbox 360 mic, yay!
uh, that plus, I don't know if there's any mixing options that you have for just the overall volume of the stream.
I don't know why specifically it's Xbox 360. That gets the memorandum. That gets the meme.
Because it hit the online space quicker, so it had peripherals like that with to establish in the public consciousness quicker, at least in America.
Mm. But transformation-wise, using the text from TFGS, I say it's like what, male to female, and then.
Sorry, real quick, just so I can go on.
Yes.
Make a choice here.
Did you visit me in my dreams?
We saw a memory of hers, basically, a personal memory. I think it was something personal, at the very least, where you'd lie if you didn't want to show that you were sort of invading on the personal space, potentially.
Sure, tell the truth. Unless you think honesty is not the best policy.
I think there are moments where it's not. I think generally it is. I think there can be white lies that are very beneficial, depending on the context.
And just quickly,
even when I do,
go ahead.
Even just to finish the thought, even when I do, quote unquote, lie, usually it's based in truth, and it's meant to still be based in truth and be more about the reality of the situation. I'm just avoiding saying something mean, basically.
Right. Yeah, same. Have there been any maps where I said no to? Like, it's not possible to do an idea for Oathbreaker?
I don't remember. Probably a few things early on when we were sort of imagining up the mechanics overall, but I feel like I typically work within the mechanics that we have for a lot of the ideas that I will propose, so that might be another element of it.
I remember there was one or two maps where I said, let's not do that again. Which is the snow map, and maybe, I don't think the boat map was that bad.
Oh yeah, I guess that was one of the more elaborate ideas, the idea of the boat showing up. And I think you actually went farther with that, because I don't think I suggested, yeah, let's have this physically come in, like, over the course of turns, you can see it get closer and closer and closer. I think I suggested it just show up. And you went out of your way to make it so, like, it moved throughout the process.
Yeah. I mean, I figured that just, like, having the ship spawn would be
okay,
like...
what the fuck more do I have to explore? What other door is even open?
Maybe you have to go to sleep.
I feel like I checked everything. No, I just said I can't. What am I missing? What am I missing? What am I missing? What am I missing? What am I... Is it whatever this is? That just looked like decoration. What am I missing?
Maybe it is the end of content.
I don't think so. Let me leave now? No? They won't let me go to sleep either?
And you have checked all the doors?
Yeah. Now this is an ending. So what am I missing? I talked to Remy and I talked to Nora. They were the only ones with big conversations. I'm not even remembering who else I could talk to.
Have you checked that door between the drawer and the... Yep.
Between what?
Oh. Yeah, you checked the doors. How about the cell door? The clock?
Not a the clock. That would be fun. Wait. What?
Aha! I'm a wizard.
Oh. What the? Did I learn something that he did mention something about opening an air? Okay, here's my suggestion. Put something to indicate that there's something active there, like a sparkle or something. Because, no, I did not internalize that I was supposed to do something based on what he said. Especially since I think I actually talked to him last time we played, so it's been a few weeks.
Yeah, someone said about it. This is why having a quest log's beneficial, from what I've seen. Because you can talk to someone, update information, and then when you return, it's like, oh, I'm supposed to do this, this, and that. Which reminds me, the last quest to know you doesn't have a quest log. Ahaha, hehehe. But there's only also like 4 rooms.
I would also appreciate in this a text log.
There's one in Visustella.
Oh, it's certainly an option. It's just a matter of implementing it, I imagine.
Oh, and the dev contacted me and wanted to introduce a puzzle from one of my games into this game. I don't know if before this point or after this point.
Sorry, could you just say what you said again?
The dev
Atramentia?
Atramentia. Let me go down. Atramentia told me, oh, I really like this puzzle. I'm gonna put it in a part of my game. I'm not gonna say which one.
Puzzle from what? Resident Maiden?
One of the games. I'm not gonna say
Or
which
something.
one.
Okay. I'm curious now.
It'd be a betrayal of trust if I say...
Like it soon.
Especially because it's pretty indicative of where I think it would go. Especially given how we mentioned some of our feedback.
Huh? I'm not following.
I'm being cryptic. You know what is a very good reason to for M2F for to transform into a female. And I might have mentioned this before. Hair loss.
I didn't actually hear that clearly. What?
That one good reason to transform
Just
into
the
a
last
girl.
word. Just the last word.
Hair loss.
Hair loss. Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Also, it might be my
Also
genes.
interesting.
Go ahead.
Are you losing your hair, Iku? Are you saying that you're having hair loss?
I've been losing my hair for the past 10 years.
Ooh, really? That's unfortunate.
I remember being in high school and then finishing my exam, and there was more hair in the exam than graphite.
Ah. Well, that's unfortunate. I have a friend from college who I still talk to and whatnot. And he basically started going bald in high school, yeah. So now he just commits to being bald.
Like, the weird thing is, I'm not that bald. But there's a lot of hair on my desk. And such. I'm saying it because I'm like, do you know what a need eraser is?
Sorry, Icarus, I need to ask you to read this line.
I guess adrenaline could be a more modern pronunciation of Ayo de Prio.
I don't know what half of those like extra characters like would even mean.
You know who might?
What's the squiggly D? What's the P that goes a bit high?
You know who might? Kuroko.
That D is a TH. Kuroko? Yeah, I guess a bit of that would have potentially more links to Greek or Eastern European stuff.
The D?
Yeah, I would just be guessing.
The Phi. So Aethel Prioth. Ethelthrin. I'll continue needing my need eraser.
She put down the Mad Queen. He was about to create an artifact from the Souls 12 match I never done before. Huh. One of them was put in here for Regicide too. This is interesting, but it does feel like it's sort of coming out of nowhere. I'm not saying that it should or can't, but I was not expecting to go beneath and start investigating what I assume is basically, what is this place? Church history?
Do you remember any of the names from the time we essentially possessed the Redhead Mage?
Do I remember them?
Remember, like,
what about it?
At near the beginning of the game where we possessed the mage, the mage with orange hair, and we were like visiting her history and whatever. Does any of the names from back then appear now?
Oh, I absolutely don't remember the names. I'm not good at names in the first place. The one thing that did sort of ring a bell, and it may just be me remembering things incorrectly, was the trying to create an artifact from 12 mages, which sounds sort of kind of familiar to the thing they were trying to do to stop, I think, the Gate of Alexandria at the beginning in those flashbacks, because they had like their group of mages and they're like, we're going to sacrifice all of us in order to do something to stop them. And I think that never was successful, if I remember correctly. But the sort of like sacrificing 12 mages for an artifact or something like that sounds familiar to me.
Right. So we can maybe say this was foreshadowed?
Maybe. The fact that Kui here isn't bringing it up at all means that I'm probably overthinking it.
Maybe. Averaged. The Oathkeeper sword and the Oathbreaker sword. Ha 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 ha. Why do you have her underwear?
Why can I put them on? Didn't I pick up something else too? Was it the Acolyte staff? Oh, only she can use it. Okay. Never mind.
Maybe
You can have
else?
both of these. One of them you can't use. We'll see. Probably. At some point.
Didn't Remy wanted to be like change classes?
Yeah, to something not involving a shield.
Maybe that's a paladin?
No, so she technically can use it. A paladin definitely can use it. I just can't change her equipment.
Ah. No, that's what I meant. Like maybe because she's like temporary ally, you're gonna change her equipment, but maybe Remy will change to be a paladin or something, so she can equip them.
Celestin was the name that was given.
Hi Reiko. My day's doing good. I released Orchard University for patrons. The final update, well, the final story update.
1.0.
1.0.
Probably want to put together a roadmap of what else you plan to do before moving on from it. That would probably be a good idea.
The game is technically complete now. Correct. Technically. I just need to fix bugs.
The best kind of correct.
The best kind of complete. I mean, we have Oathbreaker and Resident Maiden and whatever extra thing we're working on the background. I wonder when you'll make Orchard University Faded Neon.
Faded Neon. Did Perfect had a 3 in it, didn't it? Was that intentional?
No.
Because I thought it was technically the second game.
It's technically the 5th one. No, wait, 4th one.
This.
There's Trapped. There's RPG.
Technically,
there's Remastered.
Yeah. Second one within that continuity.
Correct. And technically the 3rd one with those characters. I just renamed them from OUR to RPG. Because they canonically have the same names in Perfect World than in RPG. Which all of them have like 4 letter word name, ironically. Like there's Will, Lisa, Tina, Emma. What's Cypher's name?
Enigma.
Enigma. Uh, if there is something that is constant with Ika is Orchard University, so there's no way you'll make me believe you won't have another one. I mean, maybe I have another game in a university setting that it's not Orchard University. My rubber. Does Isla exist? Or is she like a fragment of your imagination?
She was like Grand Paladin or something. So I think she's just like the head of the order of like the actual like who I work for, like the regiment of martial forces that I technically am a part of. Regia, here's a question for you. If you had to expect Icarus to do another Orchard, would you expect a sequel or a reboot?
Yes.
I barely know her. That would be a very rude thing to do.
You can only visit one dream per night?
I don't remember. I feel like there was a limitation before, but that might have just been, hey, there isn't enough.
Reiko says a sequel in
Like,
the far future that deals with the remaining of the problems of the original trilogy, quote unquote, being abused by some new entity, so pretty much a reboot with a new cast and story.
So what remains of problems? Because there technically isn't a trilogy, right?
No. No, you can do more than one dream.
Oh, I'm sure. I just assume I can't do all of them. So it feels like Persona when you're choosing which social links to go out to do.
You're like, okay, I decided. I'm gonna choose this one. You can't.
Yeah, that's what I remember. His wasn't available before.
That's why it's a trilogy. Uh, and the inside part of the quotation marks. It's not really a trilogy, but it's technically 3 games to reach the proper end of a story of the same Orchard University.
Well, as Icarus said, it's the fourth game.
Do people count Trapped as part of the setting? As part of like the continuity?
I've admittedly never played Trapped, so I don't know.
I'm not counting Trapped. It's an entirely different engine and more like a proof of concept than a proper game. It took me 3 games to reach a conclusion. Wee. And it might not be the best conclusion, but it is a conclusion.
Oh, I'm sure you did a better job than you fear. As someone who's released many a game before, I also know that feeling of doubting all your decisions and the quality of your work until people actually get their hands on it.
Perhaps. It does feel a bit cheesy, but maybe it's because I'm the writer. It might be very shonen-y. Shonen-y? Shonen-y.
Very, very typical for JRPGs.
More of a Mega Man game, I say.
Eh?
Like, I wouldn't say all JRPGs, though, these. Uh, and I'll say after the stream what I meant with. I just want part of it to be a surprise, even though as soon as you fight through one or two of the fights, you're gonna guess what the other fights are gonna be, and what's gonna happen actually.
This still strikes me more of a JRPG, even if it has some of that structural inspiration.
I mean, Mega Man Battle Network's technically a JRPG, just not a turn-based JRPG. Use the power of friendship to defeat God. As for the remains, I don't mean open plots. I don't mean open plots that weren't resolved, but more like a new character going all grave robber with the corpses of the previous antagonist and getting something out of that, allowing them to become the new bad, like how in Digimon, Bagramon tore apart the part of the corpse of God and send them to sleep with with a good old punch in Digimon Sabers to become the big bad Nextros. Digimon lore is an entirely different beast.
Okay, that was pretty cool. I was sort of wondering if it might be a bit much to go into her dream again, but it looks like she's got hold of that.
It's like, oh, because you told me you went into my dream, I'm now expecting it, so I'm now lucid.
Yeah, I wonder if that makes a difference.
A beast that can get its life together. I mean, it's because, like, how many corporations are, like, involved in Digimon canon? Like, the games have one canon, one director, and, like, one direction, and then the anime have, like, an entirely different thing. No.
Story of him getting possessed and him watching it, unable to do anything.
So was he possessed already?
He said that it had been since some earlier stage in his career that was like a long time ago, like years ago, sort of thing.
Or is this dreaming that he's getting possessed? And the no is he's present.
He's reliving the memory, and clearly there's like a ghost version of him that's watching it, trying to say, don't do it, don't do it.
Right. Is he still possessed? Or did we save him?
No, that was the boss battle.
The problem isn't the canon, but outside of it. To be precise, it's because there are two companies owning it by Bandai and Toei, and they hate each other. And each of them wants the entire share of the Digimon pie, and Digimon ends being like the abused child in the middle of the breakup. Two abusive parents. I have already have one or two stabbing in the conflict.
How do Bandai and Toei hate each other?
I think Toei just hate Digimon. They just like money.
Because like Bandai makes Dragon Ball games, and they made a Dragon Ball game recently, like a really popular one.
Bandai makes the games, Toei makes the anime. Meanwhile, for Dragon Ball, Toei makes the games and the anime, and One Piece.
I regret going to this dream now.
What's happening?
Oh, she's just like, "Hey, I'm in a dream. I'm going to confess my love," and I'm like, "Well, I guess I'm watching this now." Weirdly, like I actually, if I had a choice for Kui, I'd probably go for Nora between everyone,
Do you see Remy more as a
and
friend?
not, yeah, more in that sense. Nora
Mm.
solely because of like the sort of almost like academic level to it. At the moment, that probably is more interesting to me in terms of a partner.
Isn't Nora like 1,000 years old?
Yeah, I'm adult still. I'm not a kid or anything like that.
Is it still weird if one person's like 30 and then the other person's like 1,000 years old?
Probably could argue that it has more to do with how much time was spent being an active person in the universe. Because, like, for Nora, she was just sort of sealed away for most of that time, right?
She was like half conscious, right?
Not in a way I'd like count as living life, right?
Fair enough. Bandai originally owned Digimon. They sold the rights, the franchise to Toei. When Toei had still good reputation rather than blending da da da. Now each time Bandai does something that has any sort of animation, they have to hire Toei to do it, including just intro cutscenes for the games, and they pays a generous portion of the revenue. And on the other side, Toei goes through the same incapable of using Digimon to its full extent. Brian, incapable of using it over adventure and wanting the entire revenue for the franchise. So it's more like a reluctant partnership rather than anything of value. We.
Sorry, I missed that last thing. What do you say?
That it's a reluctant partnership rather than anything of value.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, any business partnership is almost definitely going to become that eventually. I'll say that. No matter how long it is, the more each side is in something successful, they're going to want more of the pie, right?
Right.
And they'll come to despise those that also have a right over the pie of monetary gains.
The weird thing is, this isn't even people. These are like corporations. that are filled with people. I think I accidentally started Reiko's Digimon rabbit hole. They're stuck in a constant conflict with each other. Yep, you press the button. Press the button.
Kui has become more Kui.
I'm ready to press the button.
The TFTG button.
Yes. The Twitch, please don't. Oh, they changed the voice as well.
I don't know.
I would say it's a reluctant I don't know anymore.
It's very much a, hey, are you okay? Like, I don't know, probably, I guess. We'll figure it out when we get there. We're working through it. This is going to change soon enough anyways, anyway. I can't just settle on this state and be like, okay, what do I feel about this state? Nope, we're going to the next one.
I mean, Kui is pretty gender neutral. I deal with that later, when we're not on stream.
Okay, no, we're getting pushed into it. You might want to bring it up just in case.
I pressed the button!
The last time it mattered. And you check things with the hand mirror. And let's see the damage. Okay, go back. It is not currently doing anything questionable, but it might by the end of this.
Okay, look at the thing.
No, so it's. I think it's going down, so we can probably pretty safely throw it back up around if we get to that area.
I'm ready.
That's it went past it without showing anything this time. Interesting that the one art used to show that off was the initial Dongadong one. For this sort of game, I'm surprised that was the one that got that.
Okay, I suppose we're in the on the clear. I'm just reading Reiko's statement, and basically says, if Toei only makes like adventure-related content, that's like the first season of Digimon, then they don't have to pay Bandai, and if Bandai doesn't do anything with animation, then they don't have to pay Toei. So you end up with games that don't have any 2D animation, question mark, on 2D. And you have Toei only remaking adventures. So they also changed in the groin area?
Yep. Also described it being dry.
That's a way.
It's probably accurate. It's probably one of those things that are actually like, yeah, you'd probably notice that versus what your expectations of it might be.
Fair enough.
It's just in my head, it's more a funny word to associate with it, or like
Dry.
funny in like the there's a little bit of dry, awkward humor.
When everything goes bad, the only thing you have left is humor. You can finally go down. Wasn't there a stairway there? Like on the upper left corner?
There was, but it was just a thing to tell us to go find the other one. It seems. Oh, hey Bennett! Hey, Bennett's here. I hope he changes into a girl.
Atramentia was a fan before we started streaming, or do you think this is a coincidence?
The Bennett thing, probably a coincidence. But I do think they played between previously. I know they're not caught up on it. They've talked about that, and that's perfectly fine. It's a long game, even at half done. It's a it's a between is a long game, and it's going to be long by the end of it.
Yep.
It's not a game I made to be something that you play through multiple times either. The choice that I try to insert into it is less about trying to play it multiple times and more about giving enough variation to give a otherwise linear story feeling of agency within it.
Mm, right. How many people are up to date with Between?
I imagine quite a few. I do know that there's a good amount of like active people on my Discord that are not up to date, which is fine in itself.
Like, I announce an update. Yay! I'm ready for in whatever
It
many time I'll play it in one go.
it it absolutely is the thing that I make that gets the most attention when there are updates. Yeah.
More than Oathbreaker?
More than Oathbreaker for sure, yeah.
Mm. For me, I think is Oathbreaker's the one with the most positive response. The most attention.
I think yours is a bit more spread out than mine. I feel like mine is primarily between, and then Oathbreaker is pretty good as well, but more spread out between our two uh,
Mm-hmm.
discords and areas of doing stuff. Uh, and then everything else I do is just like a small little note at this point.
And mine's like, well, I make a little bit of everything, including comics. I mean, right now I do have. I cannot check it right. Oh, I can check my phone. Right.
Oh, that actually, while we have Reiko here, you've played enough of this game to know how far we are from end of content, yeah? I know at the end of the last session when we were like thinking about how much longer there'd be for another one, uh, we weren't sure if we were close to the end or not, and we sort of assumed we could get it done in the next time we did this. But also, we're here at an hour, so maybe. So if we're talking like actual like faults and like who's to blame here, technically he did get himself into that situation, albeit, yeah.
By searching the mine alone? That's what happened, right?
What do you mean?
Like he was searching like some sort of cave, and then he got possessed.
Yeah, no, yeah, he made basically what's to me it seemed like a rookie mistake or a mistake that maybe even he didn't have a reason to be aware of, but it was still a mistake. Uh, what difference will this make? Is he gonna die? No.
You're gonna die.
Here, Icarue, you can decide this.
So what is the question? Who's to blame?
I think who steps up to try to speak for him not being executed?
Who has the most information? I think Fraser would be the best option. Either Fraser or Nora. I wouldn't trust either Kui or
And
Remy.
Nora already spoke on it too. And I think Remy probably would be bad because of the emotional elements of it. Um, Myself, Kui would probably not be what I would choose on the basis of I don't have the expertise, and any appeal I could give would just be like, oh, I can tell how much of a better person he is relative to what he was before, or something. I don't know. And Nora already spoke, so yeah, Fraser. That would probably where I would go to.
I mean, Fraser has lived like thousands of years as well.
How long has it been? I don't remember. I don't think it's thousands. I think it's hundreds.
But he was conscious for hundreds of years. They had like 10 years to relate he was possessed and did absolutely nothing. That is also true. Like, how come they are possessed for 10 years and, like, oh, it's now a us problem at the moment? Like, it's a you problem right now.
That was a very nice speech, Fraser, but I also think that was very unpersuasive. Why? Because she already pointed out the fact that the issue is not whether he was like really, really at fault, but rather than the reputation of the whole place is just like in question now, and they need to do something to show. They need to do something, and the idea is more like they need to do something to show that they really have expunged the problem. So basically, saying the thing that I sort of got the impression she already acknowledged was true. Uh, I'm not so sure that's as persuasive as it might end up being. Yeah, that's sort of how I figured it would end up going.
What happened?
Now, for her, just he's gonna get kicked out instead of killed.
Ah. Is Remy still in the order?
I think she switched over to a position that is more female orientated. That might not be the right way to phrase it.
Right.
Female saturated. That's probably accurate.
Female saturated. I was ordering food because my friends wanted me to order food at 11 a.m. in the morning. Yay.
Wait, why did you have to order food?
It's just for them to pick it up.
Why did you order it?
Well, I don't have to order. I just have to tell them what I want.
Okay. Do you have plans for later today?
The same plans as usual. I play board games.
On Fridays?
Yeah.
I thought that was a Saturday thing. Day for you. Yeah, I thought that was a Saturday thing
I
for you.
play tabletop RPGs on Saturdays, but I play board games on Fridays.
Ah, okay.
So things like D&D on Saturday,
Don't-
and things like Catan on Friday.
I'm gonna say don't say the board game thing in front of Reiko.
I'm trying to make people in Six Discord to play board games.
Yeah, I set up a whole thing over in my Discord to try to make it easier for people to set up like group activities and whatnot. There's been some movie nights, and I've run some gaming groups and whatnot. And Reiko's trying to see if she can get like a board game group going.
I would join if I wouldn't play board games every Friday.
If you didn't already have your outlet, you would join.
Correct. I wonder if it will be quicker and slower. Some of my friends are the type to calculate everything from beginning to end and recalculate every time there's a change. Take into account this is after a year or two of them pushing me to like not think about my turn and do it as fast as possible. And this is why I like random games more.
Random?
Random. Things like you cannot
That's not a
really
word.
computate.
I'm not following.
For example, chess is a completely non-random game. You know what will happen from beginning to end, assuming your opponent does certain things. And then and then
Are you saying random?
yes. What did I say?
Oh, I heard friendom, like friend, like you play with your friends, and it's like Metrovania combines two words. I thought it was friend and like
Random
kingdom or
friends.
something else. Dom, Dom versus friend Dom.
I don't have that kind of relationship with them.
Well, if you play board games with them every Friday, you sure have the opportunity to.
Could, but no.
Is it like an in-person board game thing that you do?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. That's probably a rarity nowadays.
I think so, yeah. It's one of the things that keep me sane and in the city that I'm in. Otherwise, with the prices, I should move. But at the moment, I'm fine.
So, how far? So, if you moved out to a place that was cheaper, how far out would you have to move before? And you could still go to these. It would just be a longer commute.
I would. I could probably take the train. Like right now, a single bathroom of apartment is like 3K a month. 3K Canadian. Which we like. Uh, it's not gonna like it when I switch. Okay, so it is. So it's 2100 USD for a single bedroom apartment. The problem is the minimum wage ish is like 2K. And this is before
Well,
like taxes and such.
this music feels louder than other music. Just as an FYI to Atramentia, if you see this,
So maybe it would go from 2K to maybe like 1700 if you want to be within commute distance. Like it doesn't go
how
too
far?
much down. You have
What
to.
would you consider a commute distance?
An hour or two by train.
That's fair.
And then an hour or two back. Like in reality, if you want to go for a cheaper house, you would have to switch provinces. States.
Interesting. I guess they're like, unless you get like really rural.
Not even.
That's odd.
Let's see if it doesn't cut the stream. It cut. Oh no, the music cut.
Oh, I've got the control.
You got the control back?
Got out of cutscenes, basically.
Got it. I think maybe going rural. I'm basically not come here when it snows. Like snows, okay. I don't go. Well, I think that place like 2-3 hours away. But it is like $700 cheaper, so maybe? I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. Go ahead.
Indubitably, yeah. Hundreds of dollars a month does add up.
Yeah.
The other thing I've learned is sometimes, even with higher interest rates, sometimes just buying a place is actually sort of cheaper than some of the high rents that you can get out there. Obviously, you'd have to like buy a place also in like a lower amount, but like maybe not even cheaper, but like you get more out of bang out of your money. Like for me, I went from my previous apartment was 700 something a month, and it's only gone up since then. I think the lowest I could get the same apartment for now since then would be about 1,000 a month.
Right.
And the place I ended up buying and I'm living, the mortgage is 1,300 a month. So it's obviously notably more, but it's also like for owning it's significantly bigger. For like if I was to rent something like this nowadays, the mortgage would probably be pretty similar, all things considered, to what the rent is nowadays.
Right. And I mean, technically, what you could do is to, if you have more than one bathroom, you could rent out those bathrooms.
Yeah, that certainly would be an option if you had people that you trusted to live with. You could certainly split the fees too. I know that is very much a common thing I hear about in city living, that people will split apartment costs.
Yeah, that's a city living thing. I'm a city boy. I wonder how much is left. Did the Reiko answer the question?
Reiko said should be nearly at the end. And just as a content creator myself, this does feel around the point. You unveil your new base of operations, have people go around and talk, and then at that point you hit the end of content.
Right.
There's the notes. End of current content, more content, and so and so.
I don't think there's enough time to start a new game.
Perhaps. Depends how long the game is, but yeah, I know I get what you're saying. I will be able to do a stream next week if you want to, because Thanksgiving.
So streams for the next 2 weeks, or
No, because my every other week actually gets pushed a week because it's a holiday week and no one gets the Friday off. So I have next week, then 2 weeks after that, then 2 weeks after that we're in winter break at my facility, where I took an extra few days around there, so I'll have about 2 weeks off to do whatever I want.
Christmas?
Indeed.
I took the last week and a half off as well. More so for the light, more than anything, actually.
Well, for my case, it's partly like my facility isn't open during that time, so like that's just part of our holiday time off, basically.
Yep.
We basically get Christmas Eve to New Year's Day. We get that off.
The pros and cons of working remotely.
It's development versus it's a development environment versus like a factory environment, so it doesn't need to be running constantly. That's an upside.
The rule.
Everyone's getting to know each other. That's nice.
Do you transform every time you sleep, or just certain times you sleep?
Well, I do not believe it has been every time.
Do you think you'll transform more?
It does feel like we've hit an endpoint. If a bit.
What if they grow blonde? Or more curvy? Scurvy.
Okay.
Bless you?
Huh?
Bless you. Did you sneeze, or?
No, I laughed. Interesting.
You were
Okay.
checking if the crates were there.
Well, no, because the other door was blocked and it gave an excuse for why I couldn't go through it. And I was trying to wonder, is that really a good reason? I think the reason it's blocked is because to stop anything from like going above the stairway there. I'm gonna guess it's using the same. Well, actually, it doesn't have its go on that either. Either way. Well, that's the end of it then, isn't it?
Yep. There's not enough time to start the other game, so we'll just have to leave that for next time.
Yeah, that's fair. So, overall thoughts? I'd say my 8 out of 10 with the potential to be refined into like a 9.5 out of 10. That's probably where I'd put it. I think it's quite good. I think it's if it stayed as it is and just played out the rest of the game exactly sort of how it went, I would enjoy it thoroughly the rest of the way through. I think that there's obviously opportunity for the pacing elements that I've talked about before to be better in terms of sort of like the macro scale pacing. I don't think any thoughts changed on that. I think this section was very much a similar set of thoughts, whereas like we're headed off but I also don't feel like the momentum of, okay, so what are we going to do next? I'm actually like sort of kind of trying to remember what they said we were going to do next. I know we're headed off to do something, but it wasn't a big deal that was made out of precisely what our next goal was. It's been much more about people getting to know each other and the fact that we're off to do stuff and the method that we're going to go off to do stuff and that whatnot. So, for example, that I don't necessarily feel the quote unquote momentum right at the moment.
Right. Is there an objective?
But that's like that. That's what I'm talking about, right? I think our objective is just understand what's going on with this situation with Alexandria and whatnot, right? I think that's basically what it amounts to, and we're sort of chasing after people who might understand it better at this point. Um, and if there is something else in terms of like something for us to do, I miss that big time.
Right.
Either from us talking or because it was mentioned like once or something.
Yeah, and we forgot after months of not playing. Well, a month.
I don't think so. It would have been mentioned in this one, I think. I thought the trial scene was pretty cool. I don't necessarily, I don't necessarily think like the conclusion to that was quite as satisfying as it could have been, because she basically said beforehand, it's like, okay, no, I mean, like I get that we weren't entirely in control, but like we still got to do something. And then the response was basically, Fraser, and I am sort of imagine everyone else would have said something similar of the nature of basically just saying what she already acknowledged, which I guess could be enough to just pull someone to be like, okay, let's try to be more merciful in that sense.
Right.
And who knows, maybe she was just going to do that anyways, even if no one stepped up.
Pearl of choices. Do you know what that is?
The what of choices?
I think string of pearls, something like that. It's a game design.
I'm not hearing.
String of pearls, like the pearls from an oyster.
I've not heard the term before. No.
It's a game design term that, like, you have two choices, but both choices end up in the same place. Two or more choices.
All right. That's most choices.
Yeah.
So you're saying like using the illusion of choice to string the player to go from choice to choice to choice?
Basically. It sounds like what you're doing in between.
I think illusion of choice is good. For as much as people are like, oh, we want real choice, that's not really realistic in most games. Now,
Correct.
Unless you want like super surface level actual writing and all that sort of stuff. If you want in-depth stuff, it's like that is definitely one of the things that I struggle with in between. And the solution I sort of came to was giving the choices in something that doesn't really matter to the main story.
Right. At least you give them choices.
Like the ultimate character arc for the main character in between basically boils down to change. The exact change actually doesn't matter that much. It has a lot more to do with changing from who they were into something else, and how that affects their mentality on who they are and that sort of stuff. And what they deserve in the world and all that sort of et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the exact change doesn't matter that much. So it could be a fully TG change, or it could just be the initial change at the start. And in both cases, and you can also have different acceptance levels. So it could be either of those changes with both mentalities on I ended up liking this or I ended up disliking this. And it would still be relevant to the sort of arc that I plan to tell and the story that I plan to tell without those needing to deviate significantly on that basis. So I ended up finding that was one of the easier ways to do it, as to make it so that you could basically make it choices, but like side content choices ultimately.
Right. I think my choices are more mechanical in the sense of you either grab this power to become more feminine or you don't. Like in Magicid, if you like choose to corrupt, to destroy or absorb a crystal, that's more of a mechanical thing. Or in merchant mode, if you decide to go deeper into like the merchant tree or not, and you get different endings depending on how deep you went.
How varied are the endings? I know we've talked about it a bit before, but it's been a while.
Let's see. In merchant mode, it's very different. But it's pretty much like a switch. Like after a certain number of upgrades, you switch from serving people at a bar to quote unquote serving people at a bar. Well, it's not even a bar. Well, it's a certain kind of bar. One with more poles versus one with no poles.
Yeah. Oh, that does sound familiar.
And then in Magicid, it's a little bit more gradual. But it's like you can become friends with someone, you can become best friends with someone, frenemies, or outright, if you decide to absorb things and become evil, you can control the world, or control your neighbors, or just be like awakened in some way.
Yeah, that's fair.
So it
I guess the
varies a lot.
important thing is you want to sort of decide what that choice system is going to be before you even start, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
You don't want to just sort of settle. That's basically a game design choice at a point.
Yeah.
And then there's also, in terms of this game, relevant to this feedback for this game, is that rope cut off?
Which one?
The middle one. I think it's one tile shorter for the middle rope sort of beam going across. So it doesn't quite line up perfectly. Huh.
I don't see it.
What do you know? So right above where the character is, go to the bottom of the two black anchoring points, and then go one tile to the right, and to the top edge of that tile.
Oh, to the right, not the left.
And you can see the rope that's coming up from like the horizontal part of the mast sort of cuts off.
Maybe?
Definitely. Because if you look at the other ones, they don't have that.
Right.
I'm not sure why that's one less. I don't know if that's an error or if there's like a technical reason.
It might
That's
be an
what
art
did that.
error. You also that it
I mean, it's
appears
one
longer.
less. I mean, ultimately, I assume that it's like that because it's one less tile, and there's like one of the tiles that didn't end up getting used, basically.
Right.
I don't know why it would be technically necessary to do that. Sorry, that's just a random ass thing that came to mind there. But yeah, no, overall thoughts on Sword and Soul. I think, like I said, and it's again very good game. Very much look forward to what's to come. I don't think if you don't feel the desire to be like a perfectionist, there's a need to do a lot to what's already there. I think there's some like smaller effort things that can be done to try to improve. Like, for example, I think putting like that little dungeon section, as sort of out of nowhere as it felt, going down into the dungeon and going to like a different tone and setting and more of a tense situation. That was good for pacing, for example. I think there's little things that you can do to help the different parts that I've talked about it without like reimagining the whole thing, because it's not like it's bad as it is. It's just it could be better, and there's ways you can refine it, which may not be like the if you came back to it right now and rethought how everything was going to be stringed together, you'd probably do it incredibly differently, but that's not what you should expect of anyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the point when things are already made. I know there's a ton of stuff in between that, like if I went back and redid right now, I'd do it entirely differently. But no, that would probably not be the best idea.
Yeah. Like,
But yeah,
if
no,
you
I
go...
think
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, very good game. Look forward to the next release.
I was just gonna compliment what you're saying, that if you go back and forth with, oh, I can polish it a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, like, you'll never end. Like,
If I were to give a key to the reason that I've been able to make Between as long as it is that it's very, very rare that I go back and redo stuff, change stuff, without in any significant manner.
like,
There's a few things I've let cooking on the books and being like, maybe I should readjust how that works notably. Probably most notably being like the lava area puzzle, because that's just too difficult ultimately for a lot of people. As an example of something that I should refresh and reconsider. I think there's some stuff in the first chapter that could probably be adjusted a bit better in terms of like pure pacing. I think what else would be major? I think those are probably the big ones that I'd go back and would have potential major changes if I redid it or if I did it again today. Those are the ones that come to mind.
I like keeping my mistakes in some games.
But ultimately, the thing that helps me keep going and keep like having momentum in creating games is not dwelling on making it perfect, but continuously making new things that I can reignite the sort of like passion for making games, because it is sort of new and I'm now interested in this idea. And part of the reason I made Between is that I could sort of reset that each chapter, because there's new ideas, new dungeons, new themes, new styles, new sort of like structure of the chapter, new like an arc for the chapter story, that sort of thing. That does a lot to keep the game fresh in my mind over time.
For development wise.
As a way to avoid burnout. So definitely don't feel the need to go and just be a perfectionist on it. It's in a very good place as it is.
Anything unrelated to SNS that you want to shout out?
At the moment, no. I think I'm good. I don't think I have anything upcoming. It is very much I'm like 2/3 of the way to the goal line on a few things, but 1/3 away is still a ways away on each of them. So
Yep.
it's probably still a ways off.
For myself, I just released Orchard University 1.0. So if you've been waiting for the game to finish to try it out, now it's a good time. Not you six, but like anyone else hearing.
Well, we'll have to go through that on stream at some point. I imagine after it comes out publicly.
Yeah. Which I marked it to be out of Christmas. Wee.
Oh, cool. Okay. I think that's everything I have. Anything else you want to talk about, Iker?
No. I think that's it for today's stream. Well,
all right.
See you all next week.
Talk to you all later.
Apparently.
Yeah. Yeah.
For Thanksgiving
See you next stream. Drive safely, everyone.
See ya.